On the other side, just a bad season gets worse for the San Francisco 49ers. They just can't get right. Obviously, forget the loss. It's 35-10. Another loss in this game, Christian McCaffrey suffered a potentially season-ending PCL injury. He left the game in the second quarter, did not come back. It was Kyle Shanahan that said after the game it's potentially season-ending. I mean, Jordan Mason comes in, Jay, and does what he does, but the Niners have had some of the worst injury luck in recent NFL history that I can remember this year.
It's the year from hell all over for the Niners. Just never really got going. They're missing so many bodies now. We knew this coming into the season that they were an old team and they were more at risk for this, but you couldn't project anything like this. McCaffrey, and it's a shame too because this was the first time all season he started to look like himself. Like he was playing very well. He was 7 for 53 on the ground.
He had that one trip. I'm like, honestly, like if that guy doesn't get a hand on him, McCaffrey goes to the house on that play. Like he looked explosive. I had my, I mean, he was a big part of my Sunday Night Football parlay as well. Again, look, I know there are a ton of fantasy managers out there that are incredibly frustrated. I'm one of them that drafted Chris McCaffrey number 1 overall. You missed the first 10 games of the season. You finally get him back. You think, okay, for the playoff run, and now, unfortunately, this. All that said, I feel for the guy. I feel for Chris McCaffrey. I promise you, fantasy managers, that as much as all of us are depressed, I promise you that Chris McCaffrey and his family are even more so, as are the 49ers and their fan base as well. This just sucks, man. There's no good way to put it. So I hope it's not season ending. I hope it's not career ending. You know what I mean?
Things are piling up now.
You just at some point, you know what I mean? You start thinking about your life after football. And again, I'm speculating. I have no inside knowledge about that at all. And obviously, this will be a big story as well. But really, really tough break for McCaffrey, for his family, for the 49ers, and for his many fans worldwide. Bummer there as well. The analysis here is obvious. Until, if and when Chris McCaffrey comes back, until that time, it's Jordan Mason. There were 6 different games that Jordan Mason was healthy in that Chris McCaffrey was out. He averaged over 15 fantasy points per game. He will be, to the extent that he was dropped in any leagues, he will be the number 1 pickup tomorrow if he is still available in some leagues. I've seen some leagues where people thought, I'm done. Maybe you'll see some Isaac Guerrero as well, but it feels like it'll be Jordan Mason as long as McCaffrey is out.
Yeah, just a lot of uncertainty now around the Niners with Purdy's shoulder as well. Would you be shocked if Purdy is shut down at some point? The team is 5-7. They're very likely not going to make the playoffs. I just don't know what this team is going to look like in 3 weeks. Obviously, until that point, they are still alive. They'll still, I think, throw Purdy out there for the time being, but there's a lot of downside now with the team.
I mean, here's the thing. They're home to the Bears, which in theory should be a winnable game under a new coach as well. Then they're home to the Rams. And so you see their upcoming schedule. The problem is, challenges, because you'd think hey, just not your year, shut down your guys, get ready for next year, try to develop some young players. But because that division they're in is so weak, I mean, they're 2 games out of first. They're last, but they're also 2 games out of first. And as you see there, they get the Rams in week 15. They get the Cardinals in week 18. Those are games that could Niners at Cardinals in Week 18 could decide the division.
It really could. That's the problem.
It's just they have a chance. They need to beat Miami as well, and that's going to be a tough game against the Lions. But would it shock you if they beat the Bears and the Rams and the Miami Dolphins? Those 3 next. And then
they're 8-7.
Then they're 8-7, and you know what I mean? Right.
Yeah,
they're going to get through it.
They're plus 1,100 on DraftKings to win the division. That's basically their playoff odds as well. They're not going to get a wild card. It's very unlikely. So they're alive. They beat the Bears. Then they stay alive more and more. But, I wouldn't be shocked if by the time we get to the Lions, they have nothing to play for.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah. But I'm just saying, if you're Kyle Shanahan, if you're John Lynch, if you're the 49ers organization, I think you're just sort of you're still thinking hey, we're still alive. We're not ready to shut it down.
And Bosa back. Yeah,
1,000% as well. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.